Come on, Tom. Sort this shit out. Fucking professionals, mate.
It's redonkulous.
It's completely, utterly redonkulous. The whole thing. It's completely fucked. Cunt's fucked, as I'd say. It's technically term. We're going to break the record for this.
I don't know. Like I generally get told that I swear a little bit, so
I
didn't really notice until I listened back to it, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah, I tend to. I'm sort of known for it, but I don't feel I overdo it though.
No, me either.
I don't feel I do. I think it was a time I probably did, but yeah. We are live, aren't we, mate?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
G'day, fuckers. Speaking of swearing. Welcome to Mastering Music, Mastering Life. Thanks for joining us. Tony Jack the Bear Man's here at Deluxe Mastering in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm here with this young fella. This young fella.
Yep.
Mr. Blood Duster himself.
Yep.
Jason Fuller.
G'day.
Good to have you, mate.
Good to be here.
Fuck, been a while.
Yes, as we were saying before, like 10 years or something.
10 years since we did that Blood Duster record.
Mm-hmm.
That 3 CD thing.
Yeah. Yep. So you did the rock record.
Yeah.
I did the Doom record, and
there was
Fox did the grind record.
Is Foxy still around?
Yeah. Yeah. He's
I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but everything I can make up about him just makes me think I could hang out with that dude. I'm sure he just sounds like a chill fucking.
Yeah, he's
cool.
chill. He's like, nice, relaxed dude who does good work, and it's part of some weird religious cult. Like I don't know what they are. Hare Krishna or something.
Is he?
Yeah.
I actually had a dude in here once who was he spent 7 years as a Hare Krishna monk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything for 7 years, especially something that boring.
Well, you've run your own studio for fucking 10.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You've been in a band for fucking how many years?
Yeah, but I'm killing that.
Yeah, but you've done over 7 years. You've had more than 7 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So mate, look at you. Fucking
look at me, Mr. Hotshot.
Oh mate, you've done all right, mate. I mean, as I said to you before, I said that I wanted to get you on because occasionally I get to see some of your posts. And I thought, fuck it, I love this cunt. He's got an opinion. He's not afraid to fucking express it. And generally, just a lot of shit you on about, I tend to agree with. I just there's not much that you put online that I could fundamentally say. As much as I want to argue with him, as much as I want to pick a fight with the cunt, I can't.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I can't.
It kind of probably means I'm maybe on the right path with stuff.
Well, look at you. Well, in the last 10 years, Go Town started about the time we did that album.
Yeah, because I did recorded the guitars and stuff like that at home. So yeah. I had to name it at that point.
Yeah, what Go Town, is it anything particular about?
The guitarist of Blood Duster had design studio, like he was doing ads and stuff for Street Press and all that. And he just sort of went out on his own, and he called it Six Goats. Yeah. So I just said, I've called my thing Goat Sound, and it was mainly just to shoot him. Mm-hmm. And then I was just like, I couldn't be fucked naming something else, so it just stuck.
It stuck like dog shit to a shoe.
Yeah.
And it's doing all right.
Yeah, it's doing all right. Like, earn a wage, pay the rent. Electricity hasn't been cut off yet. Let's say yet.
Toilet hasn't flooded.
No, not yet. No, it's all good. Everything's going.
Well, I think. Well, again, I was saying before. I think that's a testament to, especially in this day and age, trying to run your own business, studio business. And I encourage. One of the things I tell kids when they go to school is fucking just do your own. Yeah. Do your own thing. Go out. I mean, it's never been easier. Yeah. And cheaper. And the accessibility and affordability and availability of all the.
Well, that's like 10 years ago when I started. That was the reason why, because you could buy a 001 and a decent mic for a few $100 and start doing it yourself. Like all those things that were just, you didn't want to spend $500 a day in a studio doing like a guitar overdub, listening to some dude try and learn a solo.
Yeah.
So it made sense to just do that. But I went back and did a bachelor degree at SAE.
Okay.
Only a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
how'd you find that experience? I
was old as shit, and all the kids were fucking painful as shit.
Yeah.
All into shit that I hate. It was just like, like I missed an exam.
Yeah.
And, the lecturer was younger than me. And he's like, so you missed the exam? And I'm like, yeah, I had a kid. So it's kind of like a weird thing to be at school. I don't know. It was good.
But I reckon that's got to be, that that's fucking hard, man. I
Yeah.
even like anything that I'm really into. I don't know if I'd want to, if I could go back and do a 2, because you did a 2-year thing.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like I had recognition of prior learning for heaps of stuff. Like, I didn't have to do the mastering part because I'd already mastered 100 records by that point.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do the production part because I'd already produced.
Mm.
I had to do all the shit bits, all the
Yeah.
theory, and which it was all the stuff that I was lacking.
Yeah.
So it was good, but like I only did that because I left school so early.
Yeah.
It made sense to when I knew I was going to have kids to get a uni degree, so they couldn't come back at a later point and say,
Who's they?
my kids.
Yeah, right.
So they couldn't get, when they were 16, they couldn't turn around and go, I'm leaving school. You did it.
Yeah.
So now I've got.
But you worked out all right. Do you think though that you had to have done that degree? Do you think that?
Nah. It was just, I looked at it like, I'm getting older. I can do this degree without doing all the degree.
Yeah.
And it was easier than finishing high school because I only had year 10. Finishing high school was going to be 2 years, or I could do a bachelor degree in something that I liked.
Yeah, right.
This made sense, And even though it was going to cost like 20 grand or whatever it was, I got no intention of paying it back. I'm just going to earn completely under whatever they say for the rest of my life. I'd rather take a fucking week off than earn that extra money.
Yeah, but you just recently sold 4 billion fucking coloured vinyls of the your latest.
We won't see a cent of that. That'll all go to other people.
Really?
Well,
yeah,
it's like the old record company thing. You sell 300 or 400 records, and then by the time they've taken their cut and their cut and their cut, you might as well not have bothered.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should have just put a stash away.
I've done that before.
And just hang on to that, and
I've done that.
That'll put your kids through fucking university.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some fucking crazy bloodduster fan out there that's going to want, they're going to have worn out their fucking. I
sold one of those cult records recently for a few $100.
It's amazing, isn't it? What people will pay now for fucking bits of vinyl. I mean, I know a lot of people actually doing all right, just a little sideline thing. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
Mate, I know this. Got this young kid called Matty. He's this beautiful 12-year-old kid who we've just sort of, me and a few crew have taken him under our wing. He's a great little kid, and he has this encyclopedic knowledge of it's dance music, okay, but 90s and 2000 dance music. This kid, catalog numbers, he's just got this freakish fucking ability.
I used to be like that, and then I got old. It's like all this information.
Go fuck yourself, old.
No. But when you get older, and like those details that you used to be able to remember from things like, Rain in Blood was 1986, probably August, and like SOD, Speak English or Die was like 1985, August 1985. I used to know that about every record.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you recall those details.
I reckon if you tried hard enough, you probably could. It's just keeping up. It's just, I think there's a certain age where
drugs have started to eat the brain away.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, in my case, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
No, for fucking sure in my case, mate.
Yeah.
Rotting away. I'm prime Alzheimer's. Who are you?
Yeah, that's the way it's going to go.
Hey, what are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here.
I was thinking about that Malcolm Young thing.
Yeah.
He had Alzheimer's and all that kind of stuff, which is terrible.
There it is.
Actually, but it also could be, like, for the person, like, I'm thinking, fuck that, I don't think I'd mind going that way.
Oh, because you're not aware of what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you slowly drift off, and, every now and again you have a cool flashback of something.
Actually,
let everyone else suffer.
Speaking of, actually, no, it's a horrible thing. I know people going through it right now, and Angie, shout out to you, and thinking of you and your family. But it's a horrible thing to fucking witness, and fucking even people work in nursing, palliative care and that. Fuck, those people are fucking heroes, dude. I mean, I remember when my dad was going through palliative care, 11 odd years ago, and you never really appreciate the work people do for others. I mean, I don't. Well, I can honestly say I don't think I could do it. No. I think it would just fucking mess with my emotions too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not built for it.
Yeah, and yet
certain people are, and it's just like lucky they're around.
Yeah. Geriatric care, palliative care, carers for disabled people and all that sort of shit. Yeah.
A bunch of my friends do all that kind of stuff. Like it. It generally seems to be one of those things as you get a bit older, you kind of go into that, like you start thinking about those things, and you get into it as an older guy. You generally don't set out in life to do that, but something happens at some point where you start to care a little bit more.
Yeah.
Your testosterone levels drop, and you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I think it varies with people. I mean, I've met. They say that okay, we have no say in terms of our maturity, in terms of how we mature physically, right? We can maybe do things to help slow it down, but you're going to get old for physically, right? But emotional maturity seems to be a very different thing. And I used to think as a kid, looking at people older than me, think, oh yeah, I got time to work this out. When I get my 30s or 40s, I'll have it worked out.
Yeah.
And I realised that I still haven't got it fucking worked out. You know, I'm still as fucked up and flawed as
I
the
was
next
saying
bloke.
to someone the other day, I'm surprised when I get in the car and turn the key. Like, I shouldn't be in charge of a car. Like, when I'm doing a head check, I'm actually not doing a head check to see if there's other cars. I'm seeing if anyone's looking to see, because I shouldn't be in a car. I'm 16. Like, in my head, like, I shouldn't be responsible for an automobile.
You still like to fucking do a donut?
No. Like, it's just like, I just can't believe someone lets me drive a car. It's
well, they do.
It's just, but I feel just too mentally young to be able to have that kind of responsibility.
But it's interesting what you're saying, how as we get on, we all sort of, most of us go through this sort of existential fucking thing that goes on, and I found people haven't seen a long time how most people have changed. People say they've mellowed out and softened, but I don't know whether they've just softened as much as, again, I think you go through enough shit and then you realise, you know what, there's more important stuff in life than fucking. And it's great to have money and great to have a car, and I would not begrudge anyone for wanting to pursue shit, so long as you're not hurting anyone or yourself in the process. But you do. I think it's true. I think your values change, and you think about different things, and you. So, what do you think's been the biggest difference in you? Like from 10 years ago when we last saw each other, what do you think fundamentally is different about you and the way you roll these days?
Probably kids is the biggest thing. Like, you throw some kids in the mix and it changes your whole. It's not like the kid comes out and your whole life perspective changes, but it's going to sound. I know this is going to sound ridiculous, and if
we love ridiculous, it's all.
Like I always had in my head that I'd get to a certain age, and if I wasn't having fun, I'd just top myself. Like, I always had this. It was just not a serious thought.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I just always had this thing. Well, once I start not enjoying this, I've got an out.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have kids, you can't have those thoughts anymore.
Well, you can. It's just it's just acting upon them.
But it's like I never had the idea of. I don't think I actually even thought it through to the point of acting on it. But it was always just like, I just always lived like, I don't give a fuck about anyone or anything. I'm just going to do it. Like, not that I'd hurt anyone, but I was always, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I end up on the street, like homeless or something. That's kind of like the worst thing you can kind of think of.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it didn't really bother me. Had friends.
Yeah.
Everything was going to be good.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because people still judge you for being selfish. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
And it's judged on by people. And I think most of that judgment comes from people who would look at you and wish they could fucking do that, because the majority of people, let's face it, are miserable.
Well, every girlfriend I had was always just like, what do you mean you don't want to work for someone? I'm just like, I fucking could not bear the thought of just spending a moment on someone else's time. It just goes against everything. It's just horrible. Like I can't. I can't do it. I don't mind working for someone. It's fine. It's just waking up in the morning and knowing I've got to be somewhere and I can't just do my own thing first and turn up and something in my head just doesn't work.
And having some spotty-faced kid telling you when to take a piss and when you can't take a piss.
I can't deal with it.
That's often, look, some people are wired that way and they love it. They're fine. Clock on, clock off, go home, switch off.
In the studio, like, it's really strict times. I barely take a break. Like, if the band stops and eats some lunch, I'll eat some lunch with them. But otherwise, I'll just keep going through, Like, it's, the hours of this, I'm rarely, if ever, late. And, I always deliver everything pretty much when it's supposed to be delivered. Occasionally things will go awry somewhere. But, in general, it's pretty... But if I had to do the same thing for the same amount of money and someone else's time, I couldn't do it.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think I worked out very early. You know, I was not a teenager. I said I wasn't going to work for the man.
Yeah.
I've had to over time
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you.
Yeah, you have to do
We all,
what you
as
gotta do.
artists, and look, there, how many musicians that you and I know,
Mm.
work with who, you know, go on a tour and still got to come back and do a part-time gig or do something
Yeah.
like, and that's just life. And
Yeah, like
and
I had all those shitty jobs.
you know,
You know.
but I think that's also part of it. It makes you appreciate what you do in the studio even more. And you know, for me, it was a 21-year sort of period from where the studio started, which is just a coffee table and a fucking flat, just a computer and a fucking little mix board and what have you, to where we are, you know, to where I started, to where I reached critical mass. It just went from there to there, 21 years. It doesn't necessarily have to be everyone's timeline, but I think it's made me appreciate what I have even more and be more grateful for what I have, and look after things more and be more on top of things. And because I think you've got to go through some sort of struggle, man. I think you know, if you had a fucking trust fund, or you might have the fucking richest thing in that, but
you generally find that. Well, I always had this thing with bands, like you'd meet people from bands, but no one was ever from Melbourne, and I couldn't figure out why all the band dudes seemed to be from country towns, and I kind of figured that what it is like, if you wanted to do something and you were willing to leave town to do it, you're probably more inclined. You were driven a lot more than everyone else, so that's why I kind of figured it was full of a lot of those kind of people that were from somewhere else, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's again something that's further out of your reach and more hunger to do it. One classic example comes to mind is is Briggsy. He's from Shepparton. Briggsy from Shepparton. Who get on the train, come to Melbourne, get up early in the morning. He drank. He stopped his drinking, came to Melbourne, and rinse and repeat it how many times a week. Do the work. Be really disciplined about it. Had the work ethic down, and now look at this guy. He's just fucking, he's an activist now. He's doing fucking great things. He's co-writing or been invited to write with Matt Groening on this fucking American show. He's on TV. He's fucking everywhere, And I mean, again, a yorta man from fucking Shepparton, man. I mean,
that's it.
It's possible, From
if I mean, I'm sure chance plays a part in every person's thing, but if you're not putting in the work to get to the place where you can have that chance, and I see people all the time just like, oh, we should, I did this. It's like then they're going to go home and smoke a bong again. Yeah, it's like fucking lay off the bong for a start, and then you'll be right.
Yeah,
or at least you're making one step in the right direction.
Yeah, no, true. That's true. I think people underestimate, and this is for any of our peers and friends who are. People kind of see the veneer of the having equipment or having worked with so-and-so band, and it's true, man. It's not an easy path, and my theory is I would prefer, if you're going to have shit in life anyway, so whether you're stacking shelves or fucking, if you're going to go through shit regardless, at least go through shit pursuing what you love. If you're going to go through shit anyway, at least knowing that at the end of it there's going to be something or partly something that you really want to do.
See, I never even thought of it when I was younger like that. I was just like, I didn't even know what the fuck I was thinking. I think I was just an idiot. Just do anything, whatever. I just want to do what I like.
Yeah, but even that in itself is still a lot of kids can't even allow themselves to entertain that thought of I'll do what I like, because they're told, no, you can't do what you like. No, you need your 9 to 5. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to go the traditional way. And just overshells for a question. Sorry, if you've got any questions for Joe, just drop in the thing. Alan Colts, do you know Alex Colts? Do you know that guy?
He's an arsehole, that dude.
He's an arsehole? Yeah.
What did you do with your hair, Jason?
Yeah. What did
with
you do?
With your hair?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this, the 1800s?
The entire comment section is just people talking about your hair.
Yeah, because I took that photo of myself on the shitter for that, because you just said, I want a photo. I'm like, I don't take photos of myself, but I just dyed my hair a couple of days earlier, and I was like, I wonder what I look like when I have shit. So I took this photo and sent it to you. And no one noticed that there was toilet paper. No one cared about anything like that. They just cared that I dyed my hair, because I'm grey as shit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm white. I'm white as.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I had
nothing, but you still fucking dye your hair.
Well, I had it white for 3 years. Yeah. I just thought I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I got bored.
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking everyone's at me. It's like, screw you, hippie. Yeah, so fuck him.
So you're saying before you'd recently become vegan.
Yes. Yep.
Tell us how
All
that
right,
all came about.
so, well, I've got a mate who you would know through the internet and his fucking ramblings on the flat Earth or whatever else he's fucking
Rob
on
Ward?
about. Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
shout out, Rob. I love Rob. Rob,
Oh, everyone loves Rob, but he's fucking batshit crazy.
He's a top cunt.
Yeah, but he thinks the world's flat. And look,
Hey, he's allowed to.
I know he's allowed to. It's just fucking crazy.
Can we prove him otherwise? I can't.
Well, I would assume that like hundreds of years of science would, but it's like,
there's a lot of stuff in science that's been disproved as
well.
well. Listen, I don't
want to get in an argument about the flat Earth.
I'm not getting. I'm not arguing the case. All I'm just saying is, mate, I'm open to hear fucking everyone's story.
Yeah.
That's all. Look, I don't subscribe to that.
Anyway, right. I love Rob Wog. He's batshit crazy about most things, but we'd go on tour all the time, and we'd I think last time I went vegan was like 96 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just fucking hard then. There was nothing. And ever since then, I've always said I completely agree with the vegan thing. Like I 100% was always like, yeah, meat tastes fucking great. You can't deny that. I just don't like the factory farming. I don't like all the shit that goes with it. It's just like, you're not just, once you get over the fact that you're just necking an animal and eating it, when there is an alternative that doesn't involve that. Once you get over that thing, then you think of all the other stuff. It's like, well, it makes sense. So I used to say to Rob, I completely agree with you, man. Like, you're not getting an argument from me. It's like, well, you know better. So you're the worst of the worst. And I'm like, okay, all right. And just years of wearing me down and making me constantly think about it kind of made me go, well, now it's time to just do it.
So how long have you been now on this time around? Probably
4 months, maybe.
Okay, all right, cool. But
it's pretty early.
Yeah.
So I haven't deteriorated. If anything, I've got a bit fatter. I'm eating a bit better, I think. Yeah. Just because I can't just duck down and get a pie or something else kind of shit, just shovel in me, talk box.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm not. I think my veganism maybe lasted about a week, and look, I felt fine for that week, but I sort of just decided I'd be vegan free.
Yeah.
But again, from you can't argue from the ethical treatment of animals point of view, but even myself, again, not to defend my style of eating, I think everyone's got the right to fucking do what the fuck they want.
I think everyone does, but there's a weird thing that kind of, if you let yourself think about it, like if you actually just keep processing that thought of, okay, so what's actually happening, you kind of, I feel like you come to that conclusion pretty quick that, well, that's a pretty shit thing to do. I could do this thing, which is a better thing to do. So why wouldn't I do that? And, like I've had, it's weird because you say you're vegan and even if you don't say anything to anyone else, they will go you like straight away. It's like, fuck, Jesus, I know why Rob Walton's fucking crazy now because 20-something, 30 years of people just fucking, what do you eat? Lettuce, air.
Yeah.
It's enough to drive you fucking nuts.
Yeah. No, totally. And again, this is why I think, everyone's got a right to fucking do their thing. And like I said, it can become almost like religion.
Yeah, but
in some cases. And
a lot of people, if you say you're vegan, they just turn into, oh, you're a militant vegan. And it's like, well, I'm pretty fucking passive actually. Like I'm not saying anything that isn't true. I'm not like smacking the food out of your hand or anything.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there can be people who can just passively agree with something.
Yeah, and there's all the conversations. Look, we're having a conversation. Civilized. I've spoken to Rob about it. It's always been civilized. Again, I think it's all still like with anything. It's about the approach. Even talking to religious dudes. I mean, I was hanging out on Friday night with these Orthodox Jews, right? And they're cool as fuck, man. Again, I think it's just fear. A lot of whether it's racism or whether it's fear of religion or fear of vegans or fear of carnivores, whatever.
Social media has made all that kind of stuff like really amplified too. Like anyone with a difference of opinion is just, fuck, you're just sticking your neck out. You're ready to get, it's just, yeah.
And I think what makes it worse, and this goes with even before, like, forums and internet at the same time, forums and shit, especially when you can be anonymous, is that any cunt can get on there. You don't know who they are, and with trolls being what they are, people got nothing better to do with their fucking day than just cause shit.
Yeah.
Again, I think if just people sat down and
But you've
everyone's
also got,
capable of being civilized. Everyone fucking I think fundamentally knows, what's fucking decent fucking behaviour, and just through discussion and being open.
Yeah.
Again, you and I are different people now because at some point we were open enough to some idea to say, you know what, maybe we were wrong. Maybe this is a better way to live. Maybe this is a better approach to doing things, and we changed, right? But we have to be open to the idea of, hey, and I think this is where it is that everyone's so. Whether you look at historically, all the shit that happens in the world is fundamentally down to we're right and you're fucking wrong, and that is it.
Well, the social media things, I feel like it's slightly different because there's so many people who probably shouldn't have a voice, and in as much as you'd like to say everyone should have a voice, man, but the people who are doing the most amount of talking are generally the dumbest who are sitting there on the internet. Other people are out doing actual legitimate things. So you kind of get bombarded with this low level talk, and it just feels like the world's dumber when I don't think it is. Yeah, it's just it can just appear that way.
Yeah. What was that? I'm paraphrasing. I was Socrates or Archimedes or one of those cunts, saying that silly people talk about other people, average people, talk about, I think smart people talk about ideas and and shit like that, and trying to bring something different, and I think the internet's a great example of that too. How do you handle your social media? I know you get on there, you do your bit, but how do you regulate yourself on it?
Well, I try not to be too opinionated on there. I will give an opinion, but I try not to just go every day. This is something. I try and make every post about something, not just.
What does too opinionated mean? I don't think you can be too. Unless you become.
Just telling other people what to do.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would call. I guess there's.
But even if you're
chosen a better word than opinion.
But if you're a campaigner, I've always believed that the best way to influence is by example. So you can still be a campaigner. For example, you could be a campaigner. Let's just about veganism, right? Yeah. But again, I think that you can do positive things for your cause by educating people and just again sharing your story.
Well, all right. So when I decided I was going to go vegan, one of the main things that was going to bug me was milk because.
I remember you posted. I remember you did post something.
I just posted something about what's a soy milk that's not going to taste like fucking diarrhea in a cup.
Yeah.
Right. And it was just a fucking tirade. It was a couple hundred responses of, that varied from "fuck you, vegan" to vegan people who are giving really detailed things. It was people are just so ready to pounce. I'm the dude from Blood Duster, so a lot of people have got this idea that I am a certain way, even though I'm not. Well, I think I'm not, but so they're just fucking coiled, ready, and it was just, it just went ridiculous. But it wasn't. I didn't say I'm going to go, I'm fucking vegan now. All you meat eaters can get fucked. Blah blah blah. It was just what's the soy milk? Can anyone point me in the direction of something good? And it just turned into a fucking tirade.
What do you think's the perception? I'm not that you probably overly care, but what do you think is the perception out there of you?
If I meet someone who's in in a metal band, or if they come from that metal scene, they've probably seen me on stage nude, covered in blood, just fucking wasted, and assume that's the way that dude is. I like to have fun, get nude, cover myself in blood, and get high as fuck, but. That's a very small part of
fake blood or
fake blood, yeah. But so that oftentimes someone will come up and say try and say offensive or gross things like I'm going to be fucking impressed.
Yeah,
it's just well, what the fuck what are you doing? You're just saying stupid shit.
Yeah, I think people that work in metal, I think because association to occult Satan,
Yeah.
the heaviness of the music, the aggressive
Well, see,
nature music. And again, I think there's a misconception
it does
that
attract the fringes
Yeah.
of people, like whether that's, you know, fucking racist rednecks or you know, like ultra vegan, you know, like it does have like
the straight edge kind of crew.
Yeah, it has a lot
yeah.
of extreme people and extreme personalities and stuff. And you know, and Bloodduster has presented itself as an extreme band, but you know, everything that Bloodduster did kind of had a wink, you know.
Yeah.
But some people miss that, you know,
Yeah.
and they don't quite see it, so
Yeah.
you know, they assume you're a lot more fucked up than you are.
Yeah, and aggressive and whatnot. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and first time I met you and did a workout, you struck me as again, you're chill, you're intelligent. We had a good conversation. And in fact, I don't get to do a lot of metal through this place, and I'm okay with that. But over the years, the people I've worked with, whether any genre, subgenre of metal I've happened to do, usually have been quite intelligent, articulate, not just metalheads, not guys who actually appreciated a wide variety of music, and we're probably some of the most relaxed fucking dudes I've ever got to meet.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah,
there's also the
there's exception.
there's always an exception.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But you know, I think probably. Look, most people got to work with are pretty cool and pretty decent. I think it'd be unfair for me to say, well, people from this fucking genre.
Yeah, but there's just that.
You know,
you might be more aware of it because of the front that comes with metal bands. Like, you know, if someone says, hey, I'd like you to master my record, Fuck My Mother's Head EP, you might go into it thinking, oh, this guy's a fucking nutter.
Yeah.
You know.
But, you know, I'd rather see people take out their, if it's an outlet for them, if it is an outlet for their aggression or frustration, whatever, I'd rather see them do it that way than go out and actually fuck someone's mother's head for real. You know what I mean? Just decapitate them and
stands to reason.
Just makes perfect sense to me. And I think sometimes people lose that sense of humor too, man. You know?
Yeah, like I have a problem with metal that doesn't have a wink, or it doesn't have any kind of, you know, not parody aspect, but you know, like it has to not take itself 100% too seriously.
Yeah.
If I, you know, see a metal band and it's just, you know, like Cannibal Corpse, I can't get behind, and you know, there's a local band that I won't name that, you know, the titles are just fucking stupid.
No.
Like they're just like blatantly sexist and violent. And it's like, well, that's just fucking dumb. But if it's sexist and violent with a wink or some kind of,
they're taking
this is silly.
We're taking the piss.
You know, then I'm all for it. But when I don't sense that, it just puts me on a back foot. I'm just like, well, fuck you.
Yeah. Where's that on political correctness?
I'm probably, I think, one of the most politically correct people that I know. And I'm all for it.
What about so in terms of even in terms of gender politics and all that kind of stuff? Yeah.
100%. You know, like all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, you might have seen a Facebook post that I put up the other day. That was, I can't even talk about it on there, but you know, like I do like to do what I can to fuck someone up if they're acting like a fucking idiot.
Okay, well, some people need to be called out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd call myself politically correct. And again,
a lot of people get weird about the witch hunt element of like saying something.
Yeah.
You know, they think you're going after everyone. It's like, no, like, you know, all the stuff that's happening at the moment with Hollywood celebrities like whipping their cocks out because they're in a position of power and stuff. You know, like you see people and they're just like, yeah, but you know, they could. And it's like, well, it's not really like that. And why wouldn't you fucking want that dude to fucking burn in hell? Like, fuck that guy. Yeah. You know.
Well, I'll tell
generally that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Well, probably a lot more of it goes on than we care to think.
Yeah.
You know,
I started going through all my life. I'm just like, fuck, if I ever put someone in that position, I'm like, fuck, I've never had any power. If I was ever with a woman, they were in the powerful position because I was begging to be there, probably. You know? So I felt like safer at that point.
So tell us about the final your final show, your final Bloodduster show. So what prompted the winding this thing up?
Well, we did that cult record, record you can't play.
Yep.
So I kind of realised at that point, if you're making records that you don't even want people to listen to, then you should probably wind it up. And I wanted to wind it up around that time. But the rest of the band were like, no, let's just leave it and just not say anything. That way, if we want to come and do something, we can.
Mm.
But those guys don't have to deal with the day-to-day emails and stuff, and just it's just this fucking monkey on my back the whole time, just an unfinished thing.
Yeah.
So I just finally convinced them to let's just quit it. You know?
Yeah.
And when we were having the talks about it, we're all saying to each other, it's not about the money. But the reason we were doing shows is because, like someone would offer you 10 grand to play somewhere, and you're like, it's too good of money to throw away. So then I felt like my punk rock morality was being corrupted in some way, and I just thought, well, let's fucking kill this. And when we were talking, we're like, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. So I just booked it so it couldn't be about the money.
Yeah.
So it was, like no one's walking away with a cent from this show. Like we probably could have charged $50 as a last show and all, taken away a good chunk of money. But I prefer to walk away knowing that we did everything right in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. And make the fans happy and finish on a high note.
Yeah, finish the way we came into it, like poor and, alone.
I don't know, man. A full house to the corner is not exactly alone.
Yeah, well,
And so the tote gig was corner and then tote, right?
Yeah. So what happened was I booked the corner hotel, and it cost $4 to hire it and $1.50 for the tickets, or $1.60 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been $1.70 for the tickets.
Yeah.
So it worked out to, well, we'll do it for $6.66.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed funny.
Yeah.
So that sold out overnight.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, everyone started texting me because I didn't announce that we were going to do this. I just put it on Facebook, and it was done.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that wanted to go couldn't go, and my other band had a gig booked the night before. Mm-hmm. So I just spoke to everyone else on that bill and just said, let's chuck Blood Duster at the top. We'll put Headless at the start, and we've got like a couple metal bands to fill out this sort of doom metal bill. Mm-hmm. So, then we just sort of negotiated our fee on top of theirs and stuff. So, everyone gets a tip, can go to the last show and they still get it for cheap. And then we did a tote show the night before for everyone who missed out.
So, is there any particular, would I be safe to assume perhaps that maybe there's something the tote show may be looking for that a little bit more, maybe? Given this a tote?
No, not really. I don't really care where I play. Yeah. Like I'd play in here. I mean,
well, why haven't you?
Because I
maybe you can do a John Farnham.
Most of your gear.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought about getting a John Farnham banner.
Yeah.
And just at the last song, just pulling the rope down and just playing You're the Voice and just leaving everyone with this question of like, is that the last gig? But it was like, who could be fucked doing all that work? Getting a banner made, downloading a picture off the internet. Yeah. I don't have 6 or 7 minutes for that.
All your vinyls went.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yep.
So you're gonna have anything for sale at the show, or
so there's gonna be a limited edition colour at the show that you can only get there. So just more of a collector sort of thing.
They're the ones you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Keep a couple aside.
I don't want to put any
eBay
ideas
in a few years.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. I'm familiar with eBay.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, like every now and again, like I'll go through records. I'm like, if I can offload a couple, and you've got a family holiday sorted or something.
Do you still have any CDs?
I've got a bunch in boxes. Yeah.
So have you transported all your shit digitally now, or?
As horrible as it sounds, and as horrible as the company is, I generally just use Spotify.
Yeah.
Like I don't really listen to music outside the studio, so I'll put Spotify in the car and listen to horrible compressed
MP3s. Yeah. I haven't got a Spotify account, and I tend not to. The reason I don't have one is not because of any particular, other than outside of here, I don't really listen to a lot of music in my spare time, and people are amazing. What the fuck? I said, I work in music all day. I love music, but I need to take a break from it. Yeah. And sometimes I just like to drive my car and listen to fucking, I don't know, talkback radio.
Yeah, I listen to, podcasts in the car generally.
Yeah. Or nothing. I mean, I just want to hear my VA just go.
Every now and again, you need to, listen to the first Van Halen record or something.
Do you remember the first time you heard that album?
Yep, I do. I was on on a car ride to Brisbane, and I had it on tape that someone's big brother had taped for me when I was in grade.
So you had a tape
6.
of a tape.
Yep. Someone had taped a tape,
Yeah.
and I had it in the car. And I still listen to that record because when we got to our family holiday in Queensland, like my younger cousin pressed play and record accidentally, and it recorded over a little bit.
Oh.
And so if I listen to that song Atomic Punk, if I don't hear birds chirping, it sounds really weird. Like every time I hear it, I'm just like, something's just not right because I listened to that version for, I don't know, 10 years or something.
Yeah, no, when I first heard that album, it was just like, whoa. And I took the world by storm, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Have you listened to it lately?
The last time I actually had a listen to it was about maybe 3 years ago. Yeah.
Did you notice the panning and all that stuff in it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
That was actually one of the things. You know how before you start getting into music, and one of my fascinations.
They're one of the things that make you want to be like an audio engineer of some kind.
Exactly. You know, my fascination was always, how the fuck did they make that guitar go like that? And it wasn't until someone pointed out, I said, well, it's just you just do that. And I was just fucking devastated.
Yeah.
I was thinking there was going to be some fucking juju going on. There was going to be, like, I was waiting for this incredible fucking science behind it. I mean, there's a lot of science behind it, but you know what I mean? It was like something that was so magical as an adolescent to me was just like, it was very just anticlimactic.
Like, because I'm kind of old, so, and my parents.
Fuck off.
Well, my parents didn't have much money. I'm from a certain
you.
age. Let's say I'm from a certain time,
right?
And they had like mono tape decks.
Oh.
So when you put that Van Halen tape,
you are old.
You know,
you don't get the one.
Yeah, oftentimes, or you'd have a busted speaker or whatever, and you'd just hear that you'd only have the bass and the solos because the rhythm guitar's on the other channel.
Yeah.
But that made me start to listen to everything like AC/DC with and listening to those guys play and just get a Highway to Hell and just
go between there.
You're listening to Angus and Malcolm and they're playing the same riff just slightly different and they're meeting in the middle. It's just
and even really different guitar parts. I remember, on the internet, all these isolated tracks and stuff. And again, when people listen to AC/DC, they think it's just a 3-chord fucking schlock. But when you actually sit down and listen to the individual parts and the intricacies between the parts, I mean, it's not quite as simplistic as
it's unreal.
And
I still listen to that kind of stuff. Like I'll still turn the balance control all the way out to the side like an idiot and just listen to that.
Oh, so I got the left mono, right mono right here, mate, and that does the same thing. It's really interesting to listen to, except you get to hear them through both speakers, not just through one side. Because I think listening to one side is a bit not quite as good as having the full mono.
Yeah, well, you don't have to lean.
No, I love mono though. People fucking shit on mono. I don't know why. Mono's fucking rocks, man. I mean, most of the stuff, let's face it, most stuff the mixes up the guts anyway.
I was talking to someone this morning about 5.1, like, because we're doing this, we're doing this woman that we know, Christina, who's awesome, is doing a Blood Dusted doco. And I was talking to a friend about the 5.1. Like, he worked on a bunch of movies and stuff. And he's an arsehole. He's a really awesome guy, but he's an arsehole. And he's talking about 5.1 and stuff. I'm like, fuck, I've just got used to stereo. I don't want to fucking deal with this.
Yeah.
Who's got time for that many speakers?
I don't think I've hardly ever seen a proper 5.1 set up properly. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just haphazardly fucking placed all over the shop. And
well, that was the whole thing with stereo. Like, while the Beatles walked out and just let the interns do the stereo mixes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, we've done the real one.
Actually, speaking of Beatles, I was watching an interview today with Alan Parsons, and he talked about his experience doing the stuff the Beatles that rooftop fucking gig they did towards the end there. Interesting cat, Alan Parsons. This guy Peter Freeman, who runs Rhodes mics. He's got these really cool videos online and interviewing all these really cool cats. And one of them who I'm going to go see at SA next week, a guy called Pab, who's doing front of house for Paul McCartney, has done for years in AC/DC. He's one of the...
I see him in audio technology this month or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen audio technology. Yeah, he actually looks like Kevin Shirley, Kevin Cabman Shirley, the producer?
I know the name.
Okay, well, when I first saw the thing on Facebook about the event, my initial thought was, it's Kevin fucking Shirley. It looks like... Anyway, Kevin Shirley is an amazing engineer. Did the Baby Animals. Recently, mainly done a lot of with Joe Bonamassa and stuff. And South African dude, fucking the real deal. Anyway, but they look very similar.
Yeah.
Same hair, similar facial features, the whole bit. Anyway, I'm going to go see him, mate, which will be
Cool.
fascinating. I mean, I'm not a live sound guy, but
I fucking hate it.
yeah.
It's like the most punishing thing ever. I had to do one gig because the sound guy didn't turn up. And everyone's like, "You do sound?" It's like, great. So, and I had do you know Depression?
I've had it.
The old band Depression, the old punk band.
No.
Well, they're an old Melbourne punk band. Like I listened to them when I was like 14 or 15. I fucking loved that band.
Yeah.
And the guitarist was in this new band,
Mm.
and I just happened to be there to see them.
Mm.
And then I had to do sound. So the first live thing I had to do was him just going, "Fucking give me more fucking vocals in the foldback." I'm just like, fuck. It's the voice from the live records telling me what to do. I was just like, oh, I don't know where the fuck I am. And I'm just like, after that, I'm just like, nah, I can't deal with that kind of pressure.
Oh, I don't know how guys
I like
do
to
it.
sit back and.
It's a hard life, man.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one guy in town, a guy called Kevin Tet, Malaysian dude, who does a lot. He's very popular amongst a lot of kids. I want to get him on because he again, it's one of the things on my podcast I mentioned earlier is to get people from different facets of the industry, and live sound is just one of those things that people just take for granted. They go to a show and they're always very quick to shit on the live sound guy, not realizing that you go to a space for the most part you probably don't know, variable acoustics, things you can't sort of go Apple or fucking control, fucking undo.
Most people's experience is with the inexperienced sound guy at the local pub who's got fucking feedback coming through, and they just assume that all those guys are like that.
Yeah.
You generally don't think about the sound guy when you're seeing Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Even though maybe he's just playing a CD and she's singing over it, it's probably less work. But who knows?
Well, fucking, what do you think about that whole idea of do you
tapes back?
Yeah, all that sort of shit.
I don't really care. I've never done it. I don't think I would do it. I've annoyed other bands by calling them out, saying that they use backing tapes, which I just do because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But, I figure if you're doing it, then don't try and hide it.
Yeah.
But I got nothing against it.
Yeah. I think if you're upfront about it and people know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who, from the States, was when Britney Spears was here, she used to take her up into the rafter somewhere, and she'd come down in this harness and thing. But every night she'd say to Britney, "Spit your gum out." And that night in Melbourne, she forgot to say, "Spit your gum out."
Oh.
So that's when she got in trouble for doing that lip sync. She was just like chewing gum still.
Yeah.
It's like,
oops.
Yeah. It's not her fault.
Speaking of lighting, the guys are always just fucking almost have a panic attack watching it, those lighting rig guys.
Yeah. That's what she used to do. She was like swinging in all that stuff.
And walking up these precarious, these fucking, excuses for ladders anyway.
Yeah.
They were clothes pegs put together by fucking cotton.
Yeah.
And trying to climb up these fucking things, and you're fucking swinging like crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
She was just like this, probably about my age, like smaller than me, but, fuck, you wouldn't fuck with her. She was just, she was all over that shit.
You got to have your brain wired a certain way, man, to fucking deal with that.
Yeah. I just don't want to have to carry around Swiss Army knives and shit. It's just like all those people just got fucking belts with all kinds of fucking pliers and shit. Like,
M16, machete.
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered with any of that.
Couple of hand grenades, flamethrower. Yeah. Just in case.
Just in case.
You never.
Your chairs are falling apart, man.
Yeah, I know. We haven't got a budget, man. Maybe we have to get some gaffer tape.
This whole studio's fucked.
It's completely. It's as my friend Sloth would say, "Cunt's fucked." Cunt's fucked. It's just completely.
That's Sloth from.
Remember Sloth? Yeah, Sloth used to be a head guy.
Head guy.
Yeah. He's moved on the world. He's doing good at the moment. He's doing real good at the moment. Yeah. He's really healthy and strong.
I didn't even recognise him last time I saw him.
Yeah, no. He's really all over it, mate. He's I call him Brent Bourne after Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
He's going to be my personal bodyguard.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. In the next couple of years. Yeah. Going to send him on a couple of missions first. And
I saw him playing drums with Legends.
Yeah.
He was like fucking running around with a snare.
Yeah.
It's just like, fucking sit down. It was good though.
Yeah. So what's going to happen? Go to how long? Are you in dedicated premises or are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a warehouse space. I built like a drum room, not a massive room, just enough to do whatever. So it's essentially 5 rehearsal recording rooms And so at night it's rehearsal rooms, and I use the main live room for drums and whatever else. And then I've got like a mix room upstairs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all stuff.
It's all self-contained.
Yeah,
People come in, they
yeah.
pay their bits.
Yeah, all
Runs
the
pretty
thing.
well.
Yeah, I've been taking interns from SAE.
Yep.
And just sort of, I'm trying to make it more like just a community space, like where, I just don't have to be there. Just give everyone a key. Just go, just fucking knock yourselves out and do whatever you want. When you're there for a day and you've got a band and you're getting paid, pay me.
Yeah.
And they get it for a cheap rate.
Well, I think any place that helps promote some sense of community is really good.
Yeah.
And again,
have you seen those records that I did? Those charity records?
No.
So we did this. Must have been like a year into it. Like I was just trying to think, how the fuck do I promote a studio without taking out ads in magazines that no one fucking reads, that no one gives a shit about, or just plastering Facebook. So I thought, we'll do a record, and I felt kind of guilty because I was doing it I was getting promo, so I just donated any money from if people downloaded or bought the record, it just went to charity. So it went to the first one went to Sea Shepherd.
Yep.
Second one went to the Leukemia Foundation.
Yeah.
And this third one's going to go to a women's shelter.
Yeah.
But basically, just spend one day and re-record someone else's album from start to finish with a band for each song. So the first one we did like the Black Flag record, Damaged. Yeah. So we had like 15 bands, one after the other, go and record their song, and then we mixed it. The following couple of weeks.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and then the second one we did the Hard-Ons record. If I had thought of that better, I might not have donated it to a children's charity, because you can't get any promo from children's charity if you're recording the Hard-Ons.
Hard-Ons, yeah.
Yeah, it's just didn't think it through.
Yeah, that's all right.
And,
like most things.
Yeah, and the latest one we've just done the Napalm Death record. We've done the Scum record.
Yeah,
and it was 28 bands in a day. Just one after another.
Jesus.
They all had 20 minutes. It was fucking intense.
Well, so was it just the same setup, same drum
Pretty
setup?
much.
Just
if you wanted to bring your own amp, sit it on the box, and just let's just go. So people bring their own snare, their own cymbals, and they, it was 20 minutes, pretty much including your setup.
Yeah, right.
So you
pretty much had that in one or two takes, pretty much.
Yeah. So everyone did pretty good. Like a couple bands took a bit longer because we had a bunch of free beer. So a couple people may have had a little bit too much to drink, and we had to give them a little bit extra time. So it all got done. So it's like cool charity records.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us do. I haven't done this for a while, but used to this, which I will get back in next year. Is just a mastering drive. People just pay donation, all the money, and I think it's good. Again, if you can afford to do it. And that way you can do it from a place where you feel good doing it.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. It's I'm getting promo because I've got 28 bands who come through the studio, and maybe 15 of them don't know me. That's a fucking good thing. They might come back in 5 years' time. You're just putting good shit out there, and and then someone else gets some cash.
Yeah, no, good challenge. So. I think as one of the things you get older, again, what you appreciate, you kind of look at yourself and you think, fuck, look what I got now. Because all the shit that you and I probably have now, once upon a time was just a dream.
Yeah.
And now here we are, and we've got our respective things and doing okay in our own way. And I think there's something to be said about giving. And I think, and I think generally in terms of, certainly Melbourne, in terms of the community, musical community, we are very fucking generous and very benevolent. How many times do we see, someone's fucking down the luck, boom, benefit gig, this, and for all the bitchy and moaning sometimes that we have, and bickering and politics and bullshit.
All those subgenre music forms are little communities.
Yeah.
As much as you don't want to get into all the hippie fucking idealism of stuff,
it
is like little communities of people. So when someone in that little community, something happens, generally people will stand up and do something.
And back each other. And I think that's great. And I think that's what gives me hope. People, again, very quick to piss them out about, the industry's fucked and the internet's done this and that, but somehow we're still doing it. People are still always going to create. There's always going to be, I think, industry and opportunities for people that want to look in there. And again, man, I think if your heart's in the right place and you're in it not because you want validation or you want to be a rock
Mm.
star. Nothing wrong being a rock star, but again, if your prime focus is purely about adoration and
I haven't met many people like that though.
no, fortunately I haven't
Yeah.
either. And it's funny, it's just people from outside of music. I don't know if you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this, but you get asked, oh, I'm sure you get some real arrogant. I said, you
Yeah.
know what? No,
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Most people that come through, and I'm sure in your
yeah. There's
they're
some
cool
funny
as fuck.
questions you get asked if you're, well, being in a band, like the public's perception of a band. It might be changing now, but it used to always be you'd be at your wife's work's Christmas party or something, and someone who has nothing to do with music is like, oh, he plays in a band. My wife would be like, oh, fuck off. I don't want to fucking deal with this question again. Then you could almost smell the disappointment from every pore of their body when you kind of went, no, we're not big.
Yeah.
Like if you're not massive, you're a complete failure. Like it's a weird thing where you can't just be okay.
Yeah.
Like you can be an okay plumber.
Yeah.
But you can't just be an okay musician.
Yeah.
You have to be either the best or you're kind of shit. Oh, that's really disappointing.
Yeah.
It's
especially if you don't have really, amazing. I mean, for one, even if I had great stories, which, we all have our own share of anecdotes and stuff. For one thing, you know what? I respect the privacy of people and whatnot. If they want to tell their story, they can tell it in their own words. But for the most part, again, this perception of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, yes, it exists. But I reckon it's probably more drugs in the corporate world and in the legal fraternity, and banks and shit. I don't know. I mean, I can't afford to fucking.
I think it's everywhere. The only reason is, maybe in the music world you're already out.
Yeah.
You're out somewhere to actually have fun. So I think if you went to a banking. Rich banking dude, like a lot of people would be in the bathroom shoveling shit in their nose and whatever.
Yeah.
So, you just don't see those people at the banking conventions too often. Maybe, I don't know.
Very true. Do you still like going out?
Yeah. Yeah, I go, I don't know, once a week or something.
Yeah.
Once every couple of weeks.
Any bands you've seen that have really turned your crank?
I recorded a band called Enzyme recently
Mm-hmm.
and have listened to them later. They're fucking unreal. But they've got that kind of feeling that I had when I first listened to Napalm Death. It was just like, holy fuck, that guitar sounds fucking rubbish. But then you grow to like it, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And it just, I feel like they're doing that same kind of thing, like it's just, I can't even explain their guitar sound, dude. It just sounds like someone's got a white noise generator and they're just fucking cranking it. It's fucking horrible.
Actually, do you remember that? Do you remember that label had the best fucking slogan, Dog Meat Records?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that when I was working at Corduroy way back in the day, seeing one of their ads in this little street. I forget what it was. A little small little palm size fucking thing, street press thing, and it said, "Dog Meat Records, we're shit."
Yeah.
Which I thought was the best fucking marketing fucking slogan.
Yeah.
They were upfront about it.
Yeah, like. There's still tons of cool labels and like lots of people just completely under the radar. Like I record heaps of bands who don't even think their record's going to come out. They just, it's kind of like secondary to why they're in a band, which is rad, like they're making a record purely for them and they might put it on Bandcamp, but the chances of any of them even posting about it on Facebook are pretty slim.
Yeah. And
they just sort of don't care. Yeah. But they'll spend 3 or 4 days recording their record, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, and that's okay too.
Yeah, it's good. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I think again, I got quite a few clients who are in the category of they have a band, but it's just fun. Most of them got jobs, so they can afford to go and have the luxury of recording in a certain studio, or maybe they've got their own gear at home, and that's how they sort of get away from their wives and girlfriends and do whatnot. Don't really care too much about it, other than the fact that it's just a hobby, and they're lucky enough to have jobs that can afford to pay for things to do it a certain way, and they're happy, and that allows them to be creative because there's no pressure on we've got to write a hit record, or there's record company pressure. And
just trying to think of other bands that I've seen lately that are fucking rad. There's that band Blunt Shovel. That if you're into like just straight ahead kind of death metal stuff, we released that on Goat Sounds.
So you got your own label as well through there?
Yeah, so it's not really to, like I say to the bands, I'm not going to fucking sit there and promote your record all day.
Yeah.
But if you just need somewhere to put it, I'm happy to put it there for you.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like legitimizes their band a bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like
so you've got all the logistics in place in terms of for just manufacture and
like
distribution.
Like we might do 100 CDs, you know, and then just sell them out, and then that's it, you know. And then we put the Blood Duster digital part on that, and you know, there's a few other things that are coming up that'll be a bit bigger, but for the most part, it's like it's just a home for people that like rehearse, record, and stuff at Goat Sound. So more just friends than anything else, like, you know.
So after these Blood Duster gigs, that's pretty much it for that. So there'll be no more releases. No, you're not tempted to maybe look at doing some rare live record or B-sides,
the record that we just put out. That's all. That was designed to be the tie loose ends.
Yeah.
Although that being said, I've already found a song that I forgot to put on it.
Right.
From an EP. There's 2 splits that I didn't put on there. There's an EP, and then there's that 3-part trilogy. There's the record that goes for like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
That aren't there. It's like,
what do you do with those?
Fucking I don't think I'll bother doing vinyl or anything, but I might just put them all up as a free download or something at some point. Yeah. But I'd really like that to be kind of cut off, you know.
Yeah. Riley Strong.
Fucking what a peanut.
Well, copy pods before Thursday.
Have you seen Desecrator?
No.
You're fucking lucky. They're the ugliest band on the planet. They're fucking skullets. You know what a skullet is? It's like a mullet when you're going bald.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. So they rehearse here. So
yeah, Riley. I'll see my
Fuck
Facebook.
Those guys.
That's fucking right. So where do you from here? I mean, I'm not from here, literally from here, but so after you do these gigs and you the dust settles.
Well, so I do that surf band, the Birdcage.
Yep.
Which is just 60s instrumental surf
Dick Dale style.
Yeah. And I do another band which is just more doom metal kind of stuff, like with the guys from Christbait and whatever. So I've got those 2 bands that keep me busy. You know, I'll just do I really just had a studio so I could do my own ridiculous shit. That is the reason to do it. Yeah, but now I'm fucking caught up with other people's ridiculous shit, and it feels like I'm not doing enough of my own. So I'd like it to sort of swing back around, so I could just spend some time in there being stupid. Maybe I'll make a rap record. I won't make a rap record.
Come on, mate. Yes.
No.
Come on.
Fuck no, dude.
Do it, son.
No, dude. No.
If you really want to be king of fucked up, mate, that's where you'll get pants off salute from me there, mate.
No. I'll leave that for the experts. Yeah. No, but I don't know. I'll just do whatever comes up.
That's the best way to live. Jason.
Brutal.
Fucking good to see you, bro. After all these years.
Good to see you.
Yeah, mate. Looking well. Good to see you in a good place. And congratulations on Blood Duster and the career. And I'm sure the shows will go down a treat. You're going to record it just to have it for posterity?
Well, we're doing that. It's actually funny. We're doing the doco, but I think the guitarist is going to have another film crew just for him.
Right.
Because, I can't say anymore. But anyway, there's stuff happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. That'll be just an online thing at some point.
Yeah, someone will do that. Well, I don't think I'm going to have much to do with that. That'll be someone else's thing.
Business.
Hopefully we don't look like too much like fuckheads on
it. Well, beautiful, man. Good to see you. Thanks again. Best of luck with everything. Good luck with your kids and raising them and all the work you're doing down at Goat Sound. I think it's fantastic that you are getting kids in there and interns, and it's the way forward. Yeah. Love it. Good on you, mate. All right then. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
So, well, we're out of here. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and thanks again to the Backline Project for all the hard work they put in every fucking week. So, Tennille, Tom, love you guys. Thank you so much. Well, we're out of here. Thanks again, guys, and as always, say please be nice to each other. More importantly, be nice to yourselves. Love you, fucks, and we'll see you next week with Matt Young from King Parrot. All right.
Oh, that'll be fucking boring.
Yeah.